So one of the biggest updates on the, dare I say it, sexy new OnePlus 7 Pro is definitely that fresh new triple lens camera tech slapped on the back. These tri-lens shooters are all the rage these days, and most of the big flagship phones launched in 2019 come with an ultra-wide angle and telephoto option that you can switch between on the fly to effortlessly change your perspective. So how does the OnePlus 7 Pro stand up to the competition in a proper camera brawl? Well, I've been testing this bad boy alongside the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus and the Huawei P30 Pro for the last few days. And here's my full in-depth camera comparison. And don't forget, for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech stuff, poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers. Well, first up, let's take a look at all that techie spec stuff. If this was a straight up megapixel contest, the OnePlus would be the instant victor thanks to its 48 megapixel primary lens. You also have a 16 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens and an 8 megapixel telephoto shooter capable of 3x optical zoom for a really close-up view of your subject. The Huawei P30 Pro offers a similar setup with a 40 megapixel primary lens backed by a 20 megapixel ultra-wide and another 8 megapixel telephoto snapper, except that Huawei's periscope style design means a mighty 5x optical zoom and 10x hybrid zoom is on offer. Wowzers! And last up is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, whose 12 megapixel primary lens boasts Samsung's dual aperture setup. This can switch between f1.5 and f2.4 to suit the available scene. That's backed by a 16 megapixel ultra-wide angle lens and a 12 megapixel telephoto shooter, which this time unfortunately only manages a 2x optical zoom. And all three of these handsets have optical image stabilization built into both the primary and the telephoto lenses. So that right there is the camera hardware shenanigans, all well and good, but how do these three blows actually stack up for the photo and video quality? Well, first up, as far as the photo quality goes, those detail levels are basically a match between these three mobiles. They all shoot images at around the 10 to 12 megapixel level by default, and that's plenty for viewing back on a big display. Of course, both the S10 Plus and the P30 Pro offer a form of AI mode, which is basically smart scene recognition, which then tweaks the camera settings on your behalf whenever a subject such as a cat or a pretty flower hoves into view. This AI mode can be switched on or off on both the Huawei and the Samsung phones, and it does clearly make a difference at times, especially when dealing with colors and textures. With AI activated, some tones are boosted to make them look more attractive, while they appear more natural when that AI is toggled off again. The OnePlus 7 Pro, on the other hand, seems to lie somewhere in the middle. Colors do occasionally seem a little bit richer when shot on the OnePlus compared with the other two handsets with the AI modes deactivated. Personally, I do quite like the effect here on the OnePlus, although it is all down to taste, of course. Macro shots can prove quite tricky even for more premium handsets like these three, but get up close to your subject and you won't be disappointed. The S10 Plus proved best at those macro shots, offering seriously impressive detail from a teeny distance. But the Huawei P30 Pro and the OnePlus 7 Pro certainly don't struggle to focus and deliver sharp results as well. And what about HDR photos? Well, the OnePlus 7 Pro is a serious improvement over previous OnePlus 6T in this area, capturing more natural colors and overall well-balanced shots. The S10 Plus and the P30 Pro occasionally offer slightly brighter visuals in those darker areas, and the P30 Pro especially impresses at times with its realistic imagery production. But the OnePlus certainly holds its own against these super premium smartphones. If you demand the very best telephoto option out there, well, the Huawei P30 Pro is unsurprisingly the standout victor. That 5x zoom offers incredible detail at a distance, while at that 10x level, the hybrid zoom still produces impressively crisp results. The runner-up here is definitely the OnePlus 7 Pro, which offers a very solid performance indeed. Even when you jump beyond the 3x zoom level, you can still expect some surprisingly sharp pics. The gap between the OnePlus and the S10 Plus at this level is all too obvious. Frankly, Samsung has still got some serious catching up to do. When shooting against a bright sky, we also found that the OnePlus 7 Pro still captured a bright, detailed image of our subject, although slightly at the expense of color. The Galaxy S10 Plus offered a more natural result with realistic tones, although the subject was also darker. As for the ultra-wide lenses, well, the Galaxy S10 Plus delivers a wider view than the other two phones, and that makes for some particularly dramatic results. But all three do produce good-looking pics with a wide enough angle to fit a massive monument or a sweeping vista into a single shot. On standard auto mode, the OnePlus 7 Pro and the P30 Pro churn out the best-looking night shots. The S10 Plus sadly sucks up too much light with that f1.5 aperture lens, which leads to overblown images. Of course, that can be countered by sticking the phone in Pro mode and manually changing the aperture back to f2.4. All three phones here offer a dedicated night mode as well, and on the Galaxy S10 Plus, this doesn't really seem to do much at all to help, to be honest. On the P30 Pro, you get brighter results with limited grain, and thankfully my test photos were still nicely balanced as well. And I'm definitely impressed by the OnePlus's Nightscape 2 mode, which brightens things up and avoids oversaturating those lighter elements. Lovely stuff. Of course, in total darkness, the P30 Pro is miles apart from the others thanks to its long exposure functionality. Without that, all you get is, well, a whole heap of nothing really. Switch to portrait mode and all three phones can capture a clean, crisp photo of your subject while blurring the background out. However, while the OnePlus 7 Pro sticks with quite a subtle bokeh effect, you have a choice of background finishes with the P30 Pro and the S10 Plus. Some of these are rather eyebrow raising, but they do tend to work quite well, with the exception of a couple of the P30 Pro's more outlandish efforts. Whoa. Now, all three handsets here can shoot up to 4K resolution video, although the P30 Pro can't manage it at 60 frames per second, unlike the others. Still, I was very happy with the test footage I shot on these mighty mobiles. You can expect crisp visuals, and on the OnePlus 7 Pro and the P30 Pro, you also get quite punchy colours as well, especially when shooting a naturally vibrant scene. No worries with the focus performance either, whatever you're aiming at will stay nice and sharp even at close range. Even at that 4K level, the OnePlus 7 Pro, the S10 Plus and the P30 Pro also offer dependable image stabilisation. You get a slight shimmer with each step if you're not light of foot, but definitely nothing too hair-raising at all. Of course, the S10 Plus does offer HDR smarts, which comes in handy with those high contrast scenes, where you also get the brilliant super steady feature if you're really moving at pace. It's also worth noting that on the Huawei P30 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, you can swap between all three of those available lenses using the video mode. However, the OnePlus 7 Pro, for whatever reason, won't let you switch to the wide angle mode. All you can do is get that telephoto zoom action on the go. And we'll briefly touch on the selfie snappers on these three handsets as well. This is a single lens shooter on the P30 Pro and the OnePlus 7T, but as you can see here on the Galaxy S10 Plus, it is a dual lens effort, just for a bit of depth sensor action for those portrait shots. And of course here on the OnePlus 7 Pro, the selfie camera is actually hidden away out of sight. That never gets old. To be frank, all of them do a similar job, performing strongly even with the bright background complicating matters. The P30 Pro definitely serves up the most natural skin tones on those occasions, but the others impress as far as detail levels go. And yes, you can shoot portrait style shots with all three of them, and the Huawei and Samsung phones once again offer all kinds of funky effects. So that right there is how the OnePlus 7 Pro stacks up against the Galaxy S10 Plus and the Huawei P30 Pro as far as the camera chops are concerned. Which one's your favourite? Definitely let us know in the comments down below. And I've also directly compared the OnePlus 7 Pro to the P30 Pro and the S10 Plus as far as the speed, battery life, all of the rest of that goes as well. So go check out those videos for more on the actual hardware and software and everything else. And please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech. Cheers everyone, love you.